Hi, my name is Alison Miller, and I'm the minister here in Morris Township at the Morristown Unitarian Fellowship on 21 Normandy Heights Road, and also a resident on 22 Fairmount Avenue in the township. And I'm here for a couple of reasons, along with other colleagues in the Morris Area Clergy Council, because truly we stand behind an initiative like this, a resolution for ours to become a fair and welcoming community. And I don't know about you, but anytime Unitarians, Baptists, Jews, Catholics, Methodists, and others agree on a particular issue, I pay close attention. And we have people in our congregation that participate in every political party that exists and those who choose outside of the political parties. We really view this as an issue based in understanding what it is to love our neighbor. There is a rhetoric of fear in this country and an anxiety that seeks to blame, and we've had this experience in the past, that seeks to lay blame at the feet of the members of our community that are most vulnerable. I don't know about you, but frankly, I feel indicted to hear someone who lives in our community here to say that she has 3 strikes against her, that she's a woman, that she's a minority, and that she has an accent. We can do better. All of our families arrived in this country in similar circumstances. And we know that the way that we have had access to education, adequate healthcare, housing, and all the things that allow us to thrive as communities are because so many others have reached out and helped us. This township has a reputation for choosing wisely and really being proactive, as we just heard, and caring about the well-being of all of its residents and everyone who passes through here. But sadly, I've lived in this community for 12 years, and I can tell you that there have been times when this community has chosen otherwise. When I first met some of our neighbors, they let me know that Jews were not allowed on the block on Normandy Heights Road when our congregation was first founded. They let me know that people of color were not welcome in our community. They let me know that there were standards around restrictive covenants that required a house of a certain value. We must own the fact that we do have a history where we have not always chosen the side of love, neighborly love, but instead have chosen fear and division. So I invite you today to be the proactive Morris Township leaders that I know you can be and have been, and to pass a resolution for us to become a fair and welcoming community. It's the choice of safety, it's the choice of love, it's the choice of not criminalizing poverty, which frankly, saying that we uphold the law, including crossing a border when it's legal to seek work on this side, is really about criminalizing poverty. Let's call it what it is. So please choose love tonight and when you meet again.
Good evening. Melanie Hostetter, 21 Winfield Drive. I assume that most of your children went through or are going through the Morris School District. I recall when my son attended Normandy Park School. I think he was in 4th grade when they had a program called No More Bullies. Have you heard of it? Does anyone remember it? Well, that was about 16 years ago. It really stood out to me, and as you can tell, it stuck. The No More Bullies program put on an assembly at school. At this assembly, the students acted out a scenario of a child being bullied and what the other students or bystanders were supposed to do. Most of the emphasis of this program focused on the actions of the bystander. The bystander was to come to the aid of the person who was being bullied, the victim, and give the support needed to help stop the bullying and not just walk away or ignore it. Bystanders, especially as a group, have a lot of power. This is the topic I had intended to address last October when I last stood at this microphone. However, after about 3 or 4 sentences, I was told not to continue. At that time, I was shocked and did not know how to react, so I just sat down. Later, after a couple of hours and much thought, I became quite upset. I did not understand why I was not allowed to express my thoughts. Afterward, I even sent an email to Mr. Mills requesting clarification, but I received no response. After consulting a few knowledgeable people about civics and public comments, I was told there was no basis for restricting my comments. My comments were mostly about the negative climate surrounding the election and how I was disturbed that this climate was present even at the local level. I briefly brought up a complaint that had been heard at a public meeting the day before. I never mentioned names or specifics, and I hadn't planned to, but yet I was not allowed to speak. So my question is, what topics are allowed, or as well as forbidden, to be discussed at the public during the public comment section? Well, then there must be some rules, as you all seem to agree that I could not speak in October. Only Mr. Nunn spoke up the first time I was stopped, but then no one said a word after I was told to stop the second time. I would like to be directed to where these rules are written. Are there laws or regulations that the township has documented somewhere? Are the committee rules written somewhere? I would like to have access, but surely they must be open to the public. So to sum it up, what I intend to ask in October, but I was not allowed to say, I ask each of you, the members of the Morris Township Committee, to not be the person who goes along with the pack, that does not rock the boat. Be the bystander that stands up for those being bullied and create an atmosphere that does not allow it to happen. Be a good example to the children and students in the community so they know that bullying is unacceptable from anyone, especially those in power. Our community deserves this. Thank you for listening. I look forward to getting some direction on the rules for public comment by Mr. Mills or someone from the committee. Thank you.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank all of the committee for their service to the town. I appreciate it very much. This is a very sensitive issue, as we can all tell by the comments that have been made with reference to the welcoming resolution. It's especially sensitive for those...
Name and address, please.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Phil Delguidice, Von Eichen Drive, comment. I think it's especially a sensitive issue for all of those who see federal law as an impingement upon the rights of immigrants. Yes, we're all immigrants, as my ancestors were, who came to America. They assimilated, they were successful, and they followed the law to become citizens. It's easy to understand why so many wish to come here and seek a better life. That's understandable. Yet, I believe that many are advocating for the wrong reasons. As my dad used to say, you're putting the cart before the horse. This issue is driven, in my opinion, by emotion and not reason. It's driven by political correctness and not common sense. This current movement to accept anyone from anywhere, to give refuge to those who come here, undocumented, is senseless in my opinion. Excuse me, but for anyone who went to the United States without following the proper procedures of our government is illegal. Someone said, let's call it what it is. Well, I'm calling it what it is. It's illegal. It's an outright nullification and disobeying of the laws of our country. What is our country to become? Another confederacy where we can pick and choose which laws we would like to obey and which laws we don't? That's not the way it works in the United States. Maybe there are those who want a country without borders and no defined boundaries. Maybe that's what some wish for, but I don't. That said, the approximately 300 or so cities and counties declaring themselves sanctuary enclaves in this country are there because of political idealisms that differ substantially from my own values. You know, I've heard the chant, no human being is illegal. That is a vacuous and senseless statement, in my opinion. Why? Because many people do illegal things in many different ways. And the fact that you are in this country undocumented is an illegal action. But because of my beliefs, because of my position, many may want to put labels on those positions as being unsympathetic, as being a catalyst to breaking up families, as not having compassion, and as marginalizing other people. All because I disagree with their point of view. Or others like me who may just have a different point of view. That's senseless. Makes no sense to me. This sanctuary issue would not even be an issue if the laws of our country were followed and if they were enforced. I believe the emphasis now in our country to rid our country of criminals and wrongdoers is a sensible and just priority. This controversy is not about xenophobia, social justice, race, or religion. It's about following the law of the land. We can no longer turn a blind eye to all those wanting to come to our country. Our country has matured and endured much since the days of Ellis Island. We need to look out for Americans and provide for a safe and productive society, and to also welcome those who follow our laws. We want them to be true Americans. Thank you.
James O'Reilly, 50 Independence Way. Those who decry labels seem to be able to use them. Also, I would say that local police, there is a law enforcement question here, which is that if people fear the local police, they will not cooperate with the local police. A very important consideration.
Hi, Julie Ferdenzi, Morris Township. I'm coming here and listening to much that's being discussed tonight about this free and welcoming city resolution, I believe it's called, and hearing also how it's been passed in Madison, and I didn't realize Chatham's passed this as well, and Morristown, we know that the mayor has, called for a revolution in the streets of Morris Township. So the fact that all of this is being discussed, and for some reason, people have forgotten that there's a difference in the definition of legal and illegal. There's a difference. So everyone who's coming to this town, county, state, and country legally, everyone welcomes. We all welcome them. We're very happy to know that we are many different people come to our country and our town. But for everyone who is making the comments here, that somehow those of us who would not support such a resolution being put in place, which I strongly oppose, are somehow not loving? Who gives you that right to say that? And not criminalizing poverty? I mean, some of the language that's being put forth is really, I'm not sure who said it, but somebody did say, it's emotions. You are playing on people's emotions. And that is not what this is about. What happened in Madison, from witnessing that, and these committees that people are discussing about having you all say is okay to invite more people here to form these meetings, those are meetings that took place that were spearheaded by select groups of people. If anyone countered the idea of what was supposed to be the answer, you were shut down. So really, the people who are being shut down and who have concerns are those who are trying to say, let's uphold the law. Please do not pass a welcoming resolution.
Seeing no one further from the public, is there a motion to close the public portion?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Is there? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent.